Xbox has unveiled a new publishing division. So last week we heard about the new cloud-based publishing division, development division from Ubisoft called Ubisoft Scalar, and that had to do with cloud-based, cloud-native games that weren't just being streamed from a local box to your screen wherever you're playing, but actually being developed via the cloud. Now, after seeing that, it was logical that Xbox was going to do a similar thing, and that it was just in the works and it hadn't been announced yet. And we have that announcement here where they are launching their cloud-based new publishing division for cloud-native games. So this division is going to work with studios to develop cloud-native titles and bring them exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem, and it's going to be ran by Kim Swift, who joined Xbox last year as the cloud gaming director. And Kim Swift is known for a variety of things. She has experience in cloud-based gaming because she was the design director at Stadia, and then previous to that, she also worked on Portal from Valve and Left 4 Dead. So a very strong pedigree, and it makes sense that she is the head here of the cloud gaming organization. Now, there was a presentation from Xbox, from Microsoft, talking about this, and Kim Swift explained the mandate of the division, saying they wanted to partner with the world-class game development teams to develop cloud-native games to bring unprecedented experiences to players that can only be achieved with cloud technology. Now, this concept of cloud technology is going to open up the styles of games that we can get, the size, the scope, the smart AI, all those things, the NPCs, the way they interact without being locked and developed for a single box like we have right now with the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, PC, the PlayStation 5. And this organization is going to be able to allow developers to utilize the cloud to process things like physics, lighting, environments, and AI. And we've already seen lots of restrictions, lots of restraints with certain things like lighting, like ray tracing, and how it's still very hard to run locally on these machines. It really does take a lot of computational power, but maybe all that can be solved with these cloud-native, cloud-developed games. We saw way back with Crackdown 3 kind of the debacle that was in terms of what they had showed off and what they wanted to do, and then what was eventually given to us with the game, with the actual destruction of the environments, with the wrecking zone that was using cloud-based destruction. And it looked really amazing back then for the Xbox One, what was potentially able to be done. And obviously that wasn't brought to realization, and people were disappointed when the game came out. But this was just the beginning. This was the very, very infancy of what Xbox was thinking about where we could get to with cloud-based gaming. And we've seen them release Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is like the lowest end of what we're going to get, which is just taking games from the native box and streaming it to a variety of screens. But then going forward, I think we're going to see a lot of pretty amazing stuff come out of being able to utilize the next tiers of cloud-based development. Kim Swift in the presentation talked about Netflix and made reference to where we're going with this cloud-based technology and where Netflix was, saying at the time when Netflix was formed, internet speeds were not what they needed in order to send packets fast enough to support streaming. So instead, they sent physical packets in the mail in the form of DVDs, and they had to wait for technology to catch up with their vision, but they were ready for it. And she separates cloud gaming into 3 separate categories: ubiquity, cloud AI, and runtime calculations. Ubiquity being the ability to stream games to any device, even though that wouldn't be powerful enough to run on them natively. And that's what we have right now with Xbox Cloud Gaming. And she says here that's the low-hanging fruit for cloud content. You have cloud AI, which will advance what developers can do by using technology like machine learning, natural language processing, and reinforcement learning. And that's what I think is going to be really cool to see how that type of technology is utilized, especially with NPCs, and just making them more lifelike and more realistic in games, kind of making the games more engaging. That cloud AI is also going to be able to be used for creating QA bots, which can use machine learning to test games on a huge scale. And I mean, QA you always hear is one of the most resource intensive parts of game development, just getting all of those people in there checking out if there's any issues with the game. And we're seeing the effect of not great QA testing on games when they come out broken and they have to continuously be updated and fixed. So that will help solve that problem. There's going to be a toxicity detection and filters. AI is going to help with that. And then there's going to be machine learning to improve games that have procedurally generated features. And then finally, the last category is runtime calculations can be used to increase horsepower at runtime, leading to improved graphics rendering, AI agents, randomizations for crowd scenes, for example, destruction efforts, or as Swift puts it, all the things. Now that's really interesting as well. I think this is a very cool part of this cloud AI stuff. One of the best crowd scenes, one of the best crowd interactions in a game that I've seen in a while was actually from the game The Ascent that came out on Xbox and came out on Game Pass last year. And the way that the crowds interacted when you were going through the environments, it just seemed organic and seemed like they were actually reacting to real things going on around them was really cool. And I think that that would be a good example as to where we can be going with crowds and potentially even just way further than that. Kim Swift says here, I really think this is what people think of when they hear cloud gaming. At one point I was working on a cloud title and was asked the question, how do we build massive concurrent scale for players and make that more engaging? How can we have more players in a space that we've never seen before? And these are areas that definitely require longer term investment, but we're excited to start looking forward and driving what the possibility space could be. So really interesting stuff here. This is going to be a huge part, I think, of the Xbox publishing division in some sort of way, a huge organization for Xbox going forward. And many developers out there, many other publishers out there are going to want to take advantage of this. And Xbox will probably be a leader as they do have some of the best cloud technology in the world. We've already heard about things like Sega making a partnership with Xbox to work on Super Game, which is going to utilize cloud technology. We've heard about the Kojima rumors, which haven't been proven yet. I'm hoping we do get more information on that, where Kojima wants to use this cloud technology to create his next game. And you think about some of the just wild and imaginative stuff that's going to be able to come out of some of these developers utilizing this technology. It's very exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how Xbox utilizes this going forward and what other third parties want to jump in on this technology and make partnerships to use it. That's it for me, guys. What are your thoughts on this new cloud native Xbox organization? Do you think it's going to lead to just bigger and better games in the future? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.